Lauren here. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing how we are doing preschool learning at home, seeing as we are stuck at home / safe at home right now. I have a 1-year-old and 3-year-old boys, and I love teaching them in my home, even though I would love for them to be at preschool right now. That's just not our reality. And I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I have had a lot of experience entertaining and keeping my kids learning while we're at home. So I wanted to share some tips and tricks with you guys. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to see more. I also have a video all about DIY learning and activities for toddlers, so if you want to see that video, I'll link it down below. So I wanted to talk to you guys about what I'm doing at home with my 3-year-old son Max during this time. We normally have him in preschool a few days a week, and of course we don't right now. So I wanted to make sure not just that he keeps learning, but because of course at this age learning is so much a factor of play and just experiencing the world, but I want to make sure I'm still keeping him in the zone of getting ready for school and kindergarten coming up in a few years, and keeping him just practicing those same skills, sitting, listening, and everything that he was doing at preschool. So I'm going to share with you guys what activities we do, what stuff and things that I've bought have really helped us, and also a little bit of our schedule, which I'll get to at the end, which is a huge factor that helps us. So in terms of learning, I sort of have 3 overarching buckets that I want to fill for him. The first are letters, shapes, numbers, colors, those, simple preschool building blocks of education. The second is learning experiences through play, and that I'm focusing on texture, physical experiences, and really building that dexterity with his hands. And third, I'm doing that real life listening experiences, and what falls into that category mostly for me is reading books and baking. So in the home activities that are really teaching him how to focus and how to concentrate and how to learn from me. Okay, so first let's start with the letters, numbers, colors, basics. So there's so many different things you can do. One of the things that we really love are these felt books. These are actually from Target, but they were in the dollar spot like a year ago, so I don't think they exist there anymore, but I'm gonna link some similar things. Also, all of the pages that I'll show you guys in this book, you can definitely make your own form of. Even if they're not in like a felt book, you could just do them with paper and you'll have the same thing achieved. So vehicles on the go, my son loves this because he loves cars, and this is all about colors. And by the way, every day on Instagram I'm sharing what we're getting up to, so if you want to follow me there, you'll see lots of sort of in the home real life examples of how this goes, and I'll also insert some footage from my Instagram as well so you can see. So for example, for colors, we've got the cars here in felt, and he can sort of match them up. There's also an opportunity to talk about numbers and other things like that, shapes, but he really has fun with that. The next book in that felt series is the alphabet one. So the first thing is just to match the alphabet with the alphabet. Again, this is something you could very easily cut out and do with paper if you don't have the felt. It also has matching the first letters with the pictures, so C for cat, that sort of thing. And then same here, and then this one I really like, which is making words with the letters. So for dog you would do D-O-G, and then kind of just you could play around more to keep going with those core structures of words. So if you had cat, you could also do bat, and sort of reinforce how words like that work, especially with just those simple 3-letter words. So that's a really fun one. And then the last one is the numbers book. Again, you can definitely model this with just paper. We love the little caterpillar to learn number sequencing, 1 through 10, counting backwards, things like that, matching numbers, sorting numbers, counting your fingers. All of those are in these books, and they work really well. Another thing I love for that focus type of learning are these puzzles. So this one Max got for Passover, and his Afikoman present from his grandparents, but it's got the word blue in the color blue, and then you match it to the blue object, and it fits together like a puzzle piece. So this is again great learning about colors, but also about letters and words and early reading skills as well, and just matching. Another thing we've been doing is handouts that our teacher from preschool has been sending us, which is amazing. I'm gonna cry if I talk about her, so I won't. But She sends us a lot of these dot activities, which my son loves. So we're talking about the letter B, that B is for butterfly, and then he puts the little stickers where they're supposed to go. I have another one of the butterfly that he did. I don't know if you can see, there's like black dots for the circle to go, and we talk about the object, we're talking about spring right now, talking about the letter B, so there's lots of like learning that can take place. And those stickers bring me to my next budget, which is the play dexterity sort of budget. So we do a bucket. So we do a lot of sensory play in our house, and one of the things I love for that is Kinetic Sand, which I just store in a mason jar. I think I talked about this in my toddler video as well. Kinetic Sand has a really crazy kind of, it like has a life of its own almost. It kind of moves a little bit, but it's not messy like slime or anything like that. So it's kind of like sand, but it doesn't fall apart. It's not as like rough feeling on your hands. It's much softer. It's much more fun to play with. And then I do a lot of make my own sensory bins. Again, I covered this a lot in the toddler video, but just things like rice and beans. This one also has some moon sand in it that I just mixed together. Throw it in a bin, give them some cups, funnels, different shapes to look for. We also did a water bead one, a water play in sensory bins. Any of that works really, really well. Outdoors for us, we've been having great times with our water play and sand play. This is something that I've seen both my boys use and my older son from the time he was 1 till now. Every summer, sand bucket and water bucket are worth their weight in gold. So another big part of learning and dexterity skills is doing art. My son doesn't like to color very much, so I've been working on doing other art things with him, and I've been recommending these Melissa and Doug sets. They range between $5 and $10, but for us they give us a good like half an hour of play, and my son treasures the things that he paints with them. Also, if you can bear the cost of these to like going to one of those painting places, I think it's worth it. And we're also now painting rocks, so this was sort of, an expensive start to get him really interested in painting, and now he'll just paint rocks. But there's tons of these different sets, so we do like 1 or 2 a week. He just loves them so much, and I love that he's painting and doing some, more art than he was doing before, so I've really loved those. Another thing we love in the arts and crafts side of things is just construction paper. So when we were talking about spring and butterflies, I cut out the main butterfly, and I also cut out the little circles. He doesn't really like cutting with scissors that much, but if your kid does, definitely that's some part that they could do. Because he likes painting, he would paint the glue and then stick on the shape. So we made the butterfly, and we also made this garden, and we talked about how the grass is at the bottom, and we talked about the components of a flower, the stem, the leaves, the petals, and then he put them all on. I think it looks really cute too. So we've been loving construction paper, and of course that's super inexpensive and can be applied to anything that you want to teach your child about. Another great art supply that we've been loving is glitter glue. I just got a set of these from Amazon. Again, because my son's not like a colorer so much with crayons, he loves to just squeeze the glue and get messy with the paint, so that's been a fun one. I'll also show you guys some paint sticks that we got from Crayola that he absolutely loves to color with. I always say they feel like you're drawing with lipstick, which is really fun. Okay, and the last section I want to mention is baking. So I know we're all doing so much baking during this quarantine period, and I am loving baking with my kids. We do it every single day. I'm not even kidding you. We rarely miss a day. And I really encourage him to be involved as much as he can. I don't care if we mess up the recipe. I don't care how messy my house gets. By the way, that's probably my biggest advice is just let your house be messy. That is the let them have fun. Just let them have joy in their hearts and be messy. Anyways, I'm getting off topic, but yes, baking is a great one to talk about numbers, putting things together, the science of baking. There's so much learning you can do. So we just take it slow. We talk about things as we go. Sometimes he'll want to just sit there and watch me. Sometimes he doesn't want to, mix the ingredients and things like that, but we're really in this routine of baking a lot, and he's liking it. And then of course the last thing I want to mention is just books. And one thing I found really interesting is now that he's 3, I thought he was like not into books so much anymore. He used to be obsessed with them, and all of a sudden he was like getting over them. And I realized that he was ready for the next level of books. So we just started with the Berenstain Bear books. Actually my old books from when I was little, so I'm loving reading them to him. But I would just challenge you that if your kids are maybe like not as interested anymore, try the next level up with them. Maybe they're ready for more of that preschool preschool, early learning, longer stories than sort of baby books that you might have. So I just wanted to put that out there because, you know, seeing as he's my oldest and my first kid, I wasn't sure exactly when to have what books ready. And the last thing I want to talk about is just schedule. So what's really working for us is to do this focused learning activity every single morning right after breakfast. So we eat breakfast at our kitchen island and he's sitting there already. I already have his attention. We'll often listen to a like a audible kind of podcast story while we're eating, which gives me a chance to like get everything ready, get my baby everything he needs, because, you know, of course I'm also taking care of a 1-year-old this whole time, doing the dishes, cleaning up from the night before, everything that needs to get done. So I've got usually like a story going on our Amazon Alexa, and then I have his attention, he's sitting right there, and that's when I'll do our focused learning, usually not more than 30 minutes at the most, mostly 15. If we have a Zoom preschool call, we'll do that instead, unless we like wake up early. But it really is just that small time frame. It's one-on-one time with him. I'll usually give my baby a bottle or a snack so he's, you know, on his own and contained, or I'll give him a sensory bin to play with so I can really focus on my son. And it has really helped us throughout the rest of the day because he's gotten filled up with this new learning, something new to think about, and this really special one-on-one time with just me right at the beginning of the day. The last thing I'll say, because I get asked about it a lot, is screens. So we're not a screen-free house, but we are an iPad-free house. We use iPads only on like airplanes, long trips like that. So the reason behind why I've not introduced any like cell phone or screen games to him is just because I think they put him in a really weird like mindset. He just seems really discontent afterwards, if that makes sense. I don't know if you guys have experienced this with your kids, but it just really throws him off. It throws off his mood, and I just really don't like it. So yeah, so we use a lot of these sensory bins and everything like that because I find he's just a much more engaged, happy kid when he's not using the screen. But we do watch Sesame Street every single day, and I would watch other shows. He's just really into Sesame Street right now. So yeah, so after our, you know, really focused learning time, it's mostly just play throughout the day, and I do my best to just let him play on his own. I'm definitely not the mom that's like, okay, now we're gonna pretend to go to Mars. No, like he plays on his own or with his brother, and I just kind of supervise. He likes me to watch him play. He likes to tell me what he's doing, but I'm not one of those like dive in and, you know, I like this. So we all have our own strengths, and that's not mine. But the benefit of that is I really taught him to play on his own, which is a really important skill. And of course he has his brother to play with, and of course I'm right there. But teaching a kid to use their own imagination and play on their own is a really vital skill. So that's our schedule. A little early morning learning, mostly play, some Sesame Street in the afternoon, 1 to 2 stroller walks a day. And that's it. That's our life in quarantine. So I hope that these tips and advice have helped you guys out if you have a preschool who's learning at home with you. If you are working full-time and taking in preschool, care of a preschooler, I tip my hat to you. I don't know how you do it. I find it hard enough taking care of a 1-year-old and 3-year-old, you know, with just my YouTube channel stuff to keep up with. So I cannot imagine. It must be a million times harder. And I don't want to pass any judgment. iPads, like, you just do whatever you need to do to survive this time. But my heart goes out to all of you. I hope all of you are well. Talk to me in the comments, DM me on Instagram. I hope you guys are great. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.